Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Bishoujo Thundercracker. Now this is a repaint of the Starscream that they released earlier in 2024. I got all of the Seeker figures in 2024, but I'm only just looking at the Thundercracker and Skywarp now. Skywarp will have their own video, even though these figures are practically identical. I just wanted to do a separate video because they are separate figures, they both cost a bit, and they should be looked at as separate entities, not bundled all together. But that being said, we will be looking at all of them in the same video with size comparisons and color comparisons and things like that. It's just that I think each one deserves their own video. For a more in-depth look of the sculpt and detail and differences between the original character designs and the Bishoujo figures, please look at my review for Starscream, because any of those cool G1 references to the cartoon and figurines and things like that, I went through much more detail in that video, because all of the things that are relevant from that are relevant here. So anyway, today we're looking at Thundercracker. Thundercracker is an exclusive. I think it was an event exclusive in 2024, so it wasn't regular release, and it cost a bit more because of that. And it's one of those things where if you buy one of the alternate Seekers, either Thundercracker or Skywarp, you have to buy the other, because it just works that way. I think having just two Seekers is kind of weird. You can just have Starscream by themselves, in my opinion. But if you just sort of bought Skywarp and you didn't have Thundercracker or Starscream, I think the design would look a little bit funny. But anyway, I think they all come in threes. That's what I'm saying. Like, the Seekers are always together. It's either Starscream or all three. But anyway, this is a Bishoujo take on Transformers. They've been doing gender-bend human versions of Transformers characters for a couple of years now, and they've been going wacky on the designs, and it's really cool. We haven't had a new figure since the Starscream earlier in 2024. I hope that they will continue doing more of these later on. I think a Shockwave or a Soundwave would be really, really cool in this style. A Grimlock would be interesting. You could go really crazy with it and have a lot of fun with it. But for now, pretty much all the figures are repaints. So the Thundercracker and Skywarp, and a Cliff Jumper coming out, or has come out. I haven't gotten mine yet, and I pre-ordered through Big Bad Toy Store. This is not sponsored in any way. They're just the ones who I can pre-order with and get them in Australia without any fuss. But today we are looking at Thundercracker. Now, Thundercracker and Skywarp always get bundled together, and I can see why, because they're the other Seekers. They do have their own personalities, it's just never really a big highlight, because Starscream's always the one that steals the show. But design-wise, I do quite like the color differences that both Thundercracker and Skywarp have, and the blues of Thundercracker contrast way better with the bold reds of Starscream. And the way they've tackled that here in this Bishoujo statue is quite interesting as well. We're not going to be looking at box or anything like that, because it's the same as the Starscream. We're going straight into the figure itself, and for 95% of the sculpt, this is the exact same figure. All the differences really come down to paint and the face. So thankfully, for all of the Seekers, they've done different expressions on the faces, so it is nice to have something like that. There is something to differentiate all the figures. But besides that, paint is way different, and much like the Starscream and all the other Transformers Bishoujos, the paint is immaculate on this figure. They've captured Thundercracker's color scheme perfectly here. All the bright, bold colors, all the little details and references, as well as changes from the Starscream mold to here with just slight paint differences. So if I put them side by side with the Starscream, Starscream has got a sort of Garu aesthetic and has a lot more skin showing, so you can see the thighs, you can see the midriff and things like that. For Thundercracker, that is covered up by a sort of undergarment stocking sort of thing. So the midriff is covered up by that sort of greyish torso segment, which also matches with the general Seeker design, and the thighs are covered up by stockings as well. The arms are still bare. They don't have that sort of tan color scheme to them. They are much paler, and the expression is different. Where Starscream had a sort of cheeky, toothy smile, we've got a closed mouth smirk with Thundercracker, and looks quite nice. They do still look cheeky, but it's sort of like a more calculating smile, and I think it looks really nice. The skin tone looks good, all of the paint is very, very nice. The shading is fantastic. All of the small details that I loved about the Starscream are here as well. All of those references are clear as day. The bag looks nice. All of the paint apps on it are good. And there just realistically isn't anything different besides the facial expression. The sculpt is the same, but the way they've used the paint creates a different aesthetic for the figure. And it is nice to see. Again, if you put them side by side with Starscream, those contrasts are made even clearer. And I do like that all three lined up do look like different figures. Yes, they share a lot in common, but they do have enough of an individual aesthetic that I do feel like they can stand on their own. And the base figure was already really good, so all of these are great as well. Now, all of my thoughts, like I said before, are pretty much the same as the Starscream that I looked at earlier in 2024, but all of that is relevant here as well. They are just a fantastic figure, immaculate paint. Everything that the Bishoujo line does, at least recently, has been absolutely fantastic. Haven't really had any issues with them at all, and they've been handling the Transformers IP very, very well. Even these event exclusives that could have easily just been half-assed, they are doing a pretty damn good job with it. I do still think that the Nemesis is the best sort of repaint, recolor that they've done, because they played with the design a bit more than just changing the color. But still, this is a very good figure, and when you pair it with the other Seekers, it looks even better. Yes, it takes up more shelf space, but they do look very good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.